Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went there? Or felt your phone vibrate in your pocket, only to realize your phone never moved at all? Maybe you've replayed one embarrassing moment in your head for hours, while everyone else forgot it in seconds. These moments seem random, small, meaningless, but they reveal something strange. Your brain is constantly changing the way you experience reality, quietly, automatically, every second, and most of the time, you don't even notice it. One of the strangest psychological effects is called the frequency illusion. You learn a new word, see a certain car, hear a random phrase, and suddenly, it appears everywhere. Videos, conversations, comments, ads. It feels impossible to ignore. But the truth is, it was always there. Your brain just decided it mattered now. Human attention works like a filter. Every second, your brain removes most of reality. Because if it didn't, you'd feel overwhelmed instantly. So the moment something becomes emotionally important, your mind highlights it. And once you realize that, you start understanding something uncomfortable. You are not seeing reality exactly as it is. You are seeing the version your brain chooses to focus on. Another strange effect happens in silence. At first, silence feels peaceful, but after a while, it starts feeling loud. Thoughts appear. Memories return. Anxiety gets stronger. Because when there's nothing outside to focus on, your brain turns inward. That's why so many people constantly play music, scroll, or keep background noise around them. Not always because they enjoy it, but because distraction feels easier than listening to their own thoughts. There's also something called the spotlight effect. This is the feeling that everyone notices you more than they actually do. You say something awkward, trip while walking, make a mistake, and suddenly, your brain acts like the entire world saw it. But most people are too busy worrying about themselves to focus on you. Still, your brain keeps replaying the moment, again, and again, and again, because emotionally, you are the center of your own world. Another strange thing about the brain is memory. Most people think memories work like recordings, like your brain stores moments exactly as they happened. But it doesn't. Every time you remember something, you slightly change it. Your emotions reshape details. Your current mindset changes the story. Over time, you stop remembering the original memory. You start remembering the last version your brain created, which means some of your strongest memories may not even be completely accurate anymore. Another psychological effect appears late at night. Small worries suddenly feel massive. Your future feels uncertain. Tiny thoughts become emotional. Part of this happens because your brain is exhausted, but another reason is silence. At night, the world becomes quieter. And when the outside world gets quieter, your internal world gets louder. That's why overthinking often appears after midnight. Not because nighttime creates problems, but because distractions disappear. There's also the Zeigarnik Effect. Your brain remembers unfinished things better than completed ones. That's why unanswered messages stay in your mind. Why unfinished conversations replay repeatedly. Why uncertainty feels exhausting. Your brain hates open loops. It wants closure. And until it gets closure, it keeps bringing the problem back into your awareness. Another strange effect happens online. Your brain compares your normal life to everyone else's highlights. And slowly, reality starts feeling distorted. Because your brain was never designed to compare itself to thousands of people every day. For most of human history, people only compared themselves to small communities. Now, your brain constantly sees people who seem richer, more attractive, more successful, more productive. And even when you know social media is fake, your emotional brain still reacts to it. This creates a quiet feeling that your life is somehow behind. Another strange psychological effect is familiarity. The brain often chooses familiar pain over unfamiliar peace. Because familiar things feel predictable, and predictable feels safe. That's why some people repeat toxic patterns, stay in unhealthy relationships, or sabotage good situations. Not because they want pain, but because the nervous system gets attached to familiarity, even unhealthy familiarity. There's also negativity bias. Your brain naturally focuses more on negative experiences than positive ones. One insult can outweigh 10 compliments. One embarrassing moment can stay in your head for years, because the human brain evolved for survival. Your ancestors survived by remembering danger, not comfort, but in modern life, this survival system creates anxiety. Your brain constantly searches for problems, and when no problems exist, it often creates imaginary ones. What if I fail? What if something goes wrong? What if they leave? The mind keeps rehearsing fear, trying to feel prepared. But preparation and peace are not the same thing. Another strange effect is emotional contagion. Humans absorb emotions from each other constantly. Spend enough time around stressed people, and your nervous system starts feeling stressed too. Spend time around calm people, and your body relaxes naturally. Your brain continuously studies energy, tone, facial expressions, behavior, and without realizing it, you slowly adapt emotionally to the people around you. That's why some places feel heavy instantly, and others feel peaceful. Another strange psychological effect is hedonic adaptation. Humans adapt to almost everything. A new phone, success, money, achievements. At first, it feels exciting. Then slowly, it becomes normal. That's why external success rarely creates permanent happiness, because the brain quickly adjusts. People often think, I'll finally feel complete when I reach this goal. But when they arrive, they still feel like themselves, still uncertain, still searching. And maybe the strangest effect of all is how easy it is to lose connection with yourself. Most people spend years distracted, scrolling, working, reacting, repeating routines, and eventually, they stop asking, what do I actually feel? They become productive, functional, busy, but emotionally disconnected. And this is why silence feels uncomfortable for so many people, because silence removes distractions, and when distractions disappear, you meet your own thoughts again. Sometimes that feels peaceful, sometimes overwhelming, but almost always, it feels revealing. The strange thing is, most people assume their thoughts are objective, their memories are accurate, their reactions are rational. But the brain is constantly filtering reality, editing it, interpreting it, protecting you from it. You are not simply experiencing the world, you are experiencing the version your brain creates. And once you realize that, something changes. You begin noticing patterns, emotional loops, automatic fears. You realize thoughts are not always facts, feelings are not always truth. And slowly, that awareness creates space. Space between thought and reaction. Space between fear and decision. Space to choose differently. And maybe that's the most important realization of all. The moment you become aware of how your mind works, you stop being completely controlled by it. Not instantly, not perfectly, but gradually. You begin observing your thoughts instead of automatically believing them. And that changes everything, because your brain is powerful. But when left completely unconscious, it can also trap you inside patterns you never notice. So, the next time your mind starts replaying a memory, creating anxiety, or making silence feel loud, pause for a moment and remember, your brain is not showing you reality exactly as it is. It's interpreting it, and sometimes understanding that interpretation, it changes everything.